Ed Gein, born Edward Theodore Gein, on the 27th of August, 1906, in La Crosse County, Wisconsin, became one of the most notorious figures in U.S. criminal history, not because of a high confirmed body count, but because of what investigators found on his remote Plainfield farm in 1957. Raised by an abusive alcoholic father and a domineering, zealously religious mother, Gein grew up isolated, shy, and deeply attached to his mother, Augusta. After the family moved to a 155-acre farm near Plainfield, Augusta aggressively limited outside influence. Classmates later recalled Gein's awkwardness and strange nervous laughter. His father died in 1940, his brother Henry in 1944 under disputed circumstances, and Augusta in 1945, losses that left him alone on the farm and increasingly detached from the community. Police attention zeroed in on Gein on the 16th of November 1957, when Bernice Worden, who ran the local hardware store, disappeared. Her son, Deputy Sheriff Frank Worden, found the register open, blood on the floor, and a sales slip indicating Gein had purchased antifreeze that morning. That evening, deputies arrested Gein and searched his property. What they discovered shocked the country. Evidence that Gein had been robbing graves for years and fashioning macabre keepsakes from human remains, alongside proof linking him to Worden's death. He also confessed to killing tavern owner Mary Hogan in 1954. Authorities ultimately confirmed 2 murders and 9 desecrated corpses obtained from local cemeteries. In the immediate aftermath, Gein was arraigned on a first-degree murder charge and pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Doctors diagnosed him with schizophrenia, and he was initially ruled unfit for trial and committed to a state hospital. A decade later, in 1968, psychiatrists deemed him competent to stand trial. In a bench trial before Judge Robert H. Golmar, Gein was found guilty of the murder of Bernice Worden, then found legally insane and remanded to psychiatric care rather than prison. He spent the rest of his life in mental institutions. The fate of his property became a story in itself. With rumors that the farmhouse might be turned into a morbid tourist attraction, an auction was planned for the 30th of March 1958. 10 days earlier, the home burned to the ground in a suspicious fire whose cause was never determined, effectively preventing the site from becoming a spectacle. Gein's car was later sold to a carnival operator who displayed it for paying customers. Gein died at the Mendota Mental Health Institute in Madison on the 26th of July, 1984, from respiratory failure secondary to lung cancer at age 77. He was buried in Plainfield Cemetery. Years of vandalism culminated in the theft of his headstone in 2000, which was recovered in 2001 and placed in storage. Today, his gravesite remains unmarked. Why does Ed Gein still loom so large in popular culture? The answer lies in the psychological and symbolic weight of the case. The blend of rural isolation, obsessive maternal fixation, grave robbery, and carefully crafted souvenirs gave writers and filmmakers a disturbing template for fictional villains. Gein inspired Robert Bloch's 1959 novel Psycho, and through Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 film, The Archetype of Norman Bates. Elements of the case also echo in Leatherface from The Texas Chain Saw Massacre and Buffalo Bill from The Silence of the Lambs, among many other screen interpretations and musical references. More recently, the case has been re-examined in documentaries and dramatized series, underscoring a lingering public fascination with how an apparently quiet handyman concealed such darkness. In short, Ed Gein's confirmed crimes, 2 murders, and a pattern of grave robbing might seem limited compared with later serial offenders, But the revelations from his farmhouse rewired America's imagination of horror. The case reshaped conversations about mental illness, small-town secrecy, and the thin veneer between mundane routine and macabre obsession. If you're exploring how true crime transforms into myth, the Gein story is a key turning point. A grim, real-world event that became the DNA for generations of fictional nightmares.